Thank you, family. I am actually allowed to say that because a few years ago, someone very kindly made a motion that my family be adopted into your family. So I can call you cousins. When we got the letter that we had received this award, I just burst into tears. And I cried for about half an hour, just nonstop. Because George Henry Wright, to me, represents the finest quality that any American can have. And those qualities, actually, where did he learn them? In his family. If you notice, the nature of this award is about the servant leadership, visionary action, social entrepreneurship, and cohesive family values. And look at the people who won the awards tonight. Each one of them manifests one or more of those characteristics. So this was not just something that one outstanding family member happened to represent. This is something that permeates the entire family. And it has permeated it for 8 or 9 generations, and it continues today, as Cousin Sandra said, as we can see in the young people who spoke tonight, as we can see in the people who sang, and the people who played music, and as we can see in our elders who spoke on the oral history DVDs and who shared these stories. This has been a continuity of nobility, a continuity of values that are so outstanding. You have no idea. You may even take this for granted because you may think this is normal. But if you look around the world and you could see how amazing you are, then you would know what impact you have had on the world, but also what impact you still can and must continue to have. I feel like I'm being awarded for the action of capturing your story, of telling your story, but it's your story. This is your accomplishment. This is your way of life and your traditions and the goodness that you have created. One thing we learned during the oral history series was that even when many people were pioneering by going to college or becoming the first in a given profession, that they never just took that knowledge for themselves, but then on their summer vacations they would come back to their hometown or their home area and they would teach. And they would teach another generation of young people coming up, right? Where does this happen? Where does this happen? If you could see who you are, if you could see what you represent in this world, I think you'd explode, you know, because truly you have a story to tell to the nations. You really do. I'm now in the process of editing a movie called Dancing Joy. And of course, who were some of our key supporters for this movie? Who were some of the key participants who made this movie happen? Members of the Spalding family. Again. We want this movie to go to the whole world. It's basically a love letter to humanity. And it's about dance of all these different cultures to the music of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, one of the most celestial and deeply spiritual pieces of music ever written. And it was written by a man who had completely lost his hearing. He was completely deaf. at the time he wrote this amazing symphony. So what he wrote from was this beautiful heart of love for humanity. And it is that same heart I see each one of you carrying, and I see each one of you bringing to the world. Maybe in different arenas, maybe in different professions. But all I want to say is George Henry White's legacy continues. It continues in the George Henry White Community Center. It continues in the people who are going out and who are helping and teaching others, who are raising up others in all the different areas where you're working. So please, as you're very kindly giving this award to Sanjay and myself, please know that it just completely reflects the nobility and the servant leadership and the constant illumination that you all have brought to the world. So I thank you from the deepest part of my heart, but I also just want to say, please, let's continue this, and if anything, let's just expand everything you already are. Thank you so much.